And we should be live.
Fingers crossed.
Well, thankfully this is all on my end.
Yes.
You've done your part so far.
Yeah, we'll see if I suddenly just randomly drop out.
Yeah. Sort of not expecting. The only thing I'd expect, I guess, is if it sounds weird.
Yeah, that's what concerns me about the waveform, is because I'm not used to seeing it in this form.
Right.
Like, my resolution's higher, so I'm seeing a lot of little in-betweeny things, but that's why you've got a leveler, so I'll let you deal with that problem.
Yep. Man, that levelator program is just...
It's the bomb.
It's dark magic. It frustrates me that I haven't used it before, because it just takes a while, and I sort of don't like waiting. But man, it just does... It does such good work.
Yeah.
Let me open up Discord and TweetDeck. Give peeps a minute here to hang or join us.
Sounds like a plan.
Excuse me.
Yeah, let me know if you get any weird buzz or feedback as well, by the way.
No, sounds really good so far.
This is going to be an experimental process.
For anyone just joining us, Moonpier just finished building his computer.
Yay!
So there might be some growing pains a little bit here, but...
Hence why I don't look like I'm 2 feet away from the camera, and why
like a sepia tone.
And why my thing is no longer widescreen. Is not like a cube, it's now widescreen.
Yeah. Moved into that HD life.
Yeah, 1080p for life, says the guy with a 4K TV.
Oh man, I'd love a 4K TV.
Oh dude, honestly, tomorrow I'll be talking about it on the show proper. I noticed certain improvements, like when I played I've played games with Jess over the course of owning an X.
Yeah.
And like I see, like not a better resolution, but more details in End Times Vermintide, in the Hunter Call of the Wild. Like we played those together, and I could see the differences, but it was like, oh, it's nothing mind blowing.
Right.
Like it's pretty good. Then I loaded up Forza Horizon 3.
Your just eyeballs fell out.
Pretty much, yeah. That is astonishing, the difference it makes. It's one of those things where you don't actually believe it until you see it. And I loaded it up, Jess took one look at it, it was like, when am I getting my X? When am I getting my 4K TV?
Alright, let's start the savings plan for this thing.
Oh
man.
It's insane the difference it makes. It's just so crisp, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, because I fired it up the other day, and I was just like, man, this game still looks really good. And I thought, if only I had like an X and a 4K TV, I bet this would look just ridiculously, stupidly good.
Yeah, it was one of those things where I was like, oh, guess what? This officially makes it worth my while. This is the reason why I got myself the TV and the X.
Yeah. I just realized I forgot to make YouTube stream public.
Yep, I was going to say we're still not on YouTube, by the way.
Bleh. Let's retweet this and say YouTube is now live as well. Exclamation mark. Oh, excuse me. The YouTube link works as well now. Well has 2 L's in it. There we go.
No, it doesn't. It has 1. I don't know what you're talking about.
You're just gaslighting me over here.
Also, I'm not going to lie, I'm mightily impressed by how easy the Windows 10 installation was.
It's really great, and a lot of it is just like, hey, we're working, like, come back later. We don't need you anymore.
Minus my weird power issues.
Yeah.
And it even handled them, like, mid-installation, it was shutting down. And even with them, it was just, like, as soon as it kicked back up, it was like, okay, this is where we were up to, let's go.
Yeah, it's so crazy It's so crazy how it works. If you really want to know, it's such an interesting read, but basically how it works now is what it does is it creates a very, very tiny partition on your machine, installs a virtual machine, and then uses that to unpack everything that it has installed on that virtual machine.
Okay.
It's crazy because they found that with how slow USB and like DVD drives are, they're infinitely slower than how fast SSDs are. So you can get something on a drive first and then like unpack it from there. It's way faster than the alternative.
Yeah, it was surprising. Like, I mean, I got the parts for this. I finally all got them together. Everything arrived Wednesday. I built it Friday. I did my install process this morning. And this was after not getting home until like 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. this morning because we had to go out and about and do stuff. Hey, I had to apply for a credit card.
Hey,
I'm
nice.
almost 34. But we went and did a whole bunch of stuff. We did some grocery shopping. I was like, okay, I'm going to see what I can do for the PC. Got all the install doing, solved my power supply issue, and everything I needed to record the show. All done between 11 p.m. and now.
Yeah.
And it's like,
That's
oh,
not
I've
bad
also
for, like, half a
Steam
day.
installed. No, not at all.
Yeah. Man.
I am very, very happy.
Yeah, it's kind of nice how much easier it is to build computers in general now. There's like weird stuff with different motherboard manufacturers, but like a lot of people, whenever people come to me and say like, I don't really want to build a computer, I'm kind of scared of it. It's like nowadays it's literally like putting a puzzle together.
Well, I was terrified, and
Yeah.
it's the worst feeling in the world when you're slotting in your CPU fan, and you hear the cracks of the board because it's never been bent in any way, shape, or form. It's just like, I just broke the whole thing, didn't I?
I broke $400 worth of motherboard and processor and fan. Yeah. And then it boots and you're just like, yes.
Well, literally, this is the stupid thing. I got it all set up. I got an external, I can't remember what it's called, the build on the outside, like you build before you put it in the case.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I got one of them done. And I was like, okay, I'll go grab the monitors because we've got 3. All use the old VGA connection. And we didn't have any monitor or any adapters that had the longer VGA connection, basically, instead of the short stubby one. It's the longer one. No monitors that had that. So I was like, so I've either got to use like a 35-inch TV,
right,
which won't fit on this desk, or I've got to figure, I'll wait and figure something out. So we literally just dropped around to the local pawn shop, like 22-inch HD TV with a HDMI input. Problem solved. Now I've got a HDMI monitor.
Yeah.
So booted it up, and that's when I posted. I had it yesterday. I think I did the boot setup. Was like, yes, there's the BIOS. Disconnect everything, put it all in the case, build it up. Then that's when I took the photo yesterday of the boot drive message.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I'm really proud of this. I'm going to stop for today.
Yep.
I'm not going to try and do all the installation the same day because I was exhausted by the time I'd done that. And I was terrified of it for the longest time. Like, I was scared I wouldn't be able to do it. It's so easy. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, like, it's so much easier nowadays because, like, everything goes into the place it's supposed to go into. Like, even RAM, back in the old days, like the late 80s, the early 90s, you could flip RAM around because it didn't have that key notch in it.
Yeah, the little notch.
Yeah, and then when they put the notch in, originally, it was straight in the middle of the RAM. It's like, well, that doesn't help me. Come on, guys.
To be honest, like, PC Parts Picker as well is kind of a lifesaver.
Yeah.
Because PC Parts Picker, like, the biggest concern for me will be the compatibility issues.
Yep.
And that takes all of that questioning away.
Yeah, I even love, like, they didn't do this originally, but they do it now where it's like, all right, you picked a motherboard, so the only RAM we're going to show you is the RAM that works with this motherboard. It's not like, oh, I picked out this RAM and it's the best, and PC Part Picker is like, yeah, except it's not going to work. Like,
yeah,
it's so much smarter.
That's the thing I'm probably most excited about this build is everything I've got in there can handle going up.
Yeah.
Like, we talked about it when I was getting it first built up, where it was like, you know, I've got the space to go to a 1080. I've got the space to put another 4 SSDs in there, apparently, according to my instruction manual. I've got 3 hard drive slots that I'm not using, you know. There's space in there to just upgrade and keep upgrading, which I'm very happy about, because now that it's up and running, I see how smooth it's going. It's like, oh, okay, it works. Step number 1 done.
Right.
Step number 2 is get Jess an Xbox One X before she kills me.
Right. Or
you
just
got an Xbox One X and you built a new PC and I have had nothing. It's like, okay, X it is.
That's a fair point.
Yes.
But also now I need a monitor. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad it worked out for you, because it's every once in a while someone still has a build that just goes wrong. Like, you get a bad RAM stick, or the fan doesn't work, or like your video cards for some reason isn't taking power from the PSU. It's just like, but I'd say a good 90% of people that build stuff, it's just like that. That just goes together. You pop your disk in for Windows 10 and it installs, and you update your drivers and you're good.
Yeah, it's like I don't even have an optical drive in this anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I just booted it all from a USB, which I'm super pleased with, especially I could do it from the USB-C, which made it even faster, or the USB 3, nice. I should say.
Yeah.
But no, I was very happy with the way it's turned out, and considering how little it actually cost when you look at it, it's, you know, the parts I might need to upgrade at some point, the processor or the CPU, because I've got an i3 in there. But it'll do the job for now. That's all I need it to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exciting. And I think, oh, did you upgrade all your drivers once you installed Windows 10, like your motherboard and sound card and all that?
Not yet. Okay. Still got to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's going to be fun.
All the not fun, sort of boring stuff.
Yeah, I've got to figure out how to do that first. I'm just going to go into the maintenance panel on the PC and just click install drivers or upgrade drivers.
Who's your manufacturer for motherboard? MSI?
Yes.
Yeah, go to their website and put in the model of your motherboard, and they should have like a drivers section for your motherboard. Just download like one of everything, just install all of them.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. The only one that might be hard is BIOS, because some manufacturers won't let you install BIOS updates from in Windows. You have to put it on a flash drive, get into your BIOS, and update it from there. But they'll have instructions.
Awesome.
Yeah. Even that stuff is easy now, where it's like, you don't have to install it in any order. It's just like, just run down the list and start installing stuff.
Sounds like a plan, Batman.
And if it goes wrong, you just install Windows 10 over again.
Yay!
Alright, are you ready to kick this thing off?
Yep.
A probably not super long episode of Game Club?
Yep.
That's alright. Alright, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. It's the third Saturday of the month, so let's talk about TVGP's Game Club. Game Club cast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello.
Sorry, somebody just posted some spam in chat literally as soon as I started recording this. Grumble, grumble, grumble. The Game Club game this month is Ziggurat.
Yes.
Thankfully, a roguelike that is near and dear. I guess the genre is near and dear to the heart of Moonpier and I.
Yeah, thanks for that, Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac says you're welcome. Well, let me just see if I can ban this person real quick. Scroll down. Click on that guy. No, I don't want to do that. Alright, we'll worry about that in a second. Alright. Let's talk. Usually I say, hey, we're going to talk about spoilers. That's not really going to be a thing for Ziggurat.
No,
so,
it's impossible to spoil this game. It's a 5-level dungeon that you run repeatedly.
Yeah, and they have bosses.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yep.
Let's break out the details of this game. Originally released on October 23rd, 2014, and then sort of staggered releases across multiple platforms over the course of the next 2 or so years. Published and developed by friends of the show, Milkstone Studios.
How are they friends of the show, by the way?
Oh boy, we've been covering their games sort of accidentally ever since they put out their first game on Xbox Live Indie Games on the 360.
Was it the Tornado Whirlwind game?
No, they put out some like sheep puzzle game and some cool racing games.
It wasn't Flock, was it?
Maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but they've always been friends of the show, and you know we've been covering them all the way up until their smash hit Ziggurat.
I now own 3 of their games because of that. Because they have a Milkstone bundle on Xbox Live. 20 bucks for 3 games, or like 15 for Ziggurat. So guess what?
There we go. Was released on PC, Wii U, PS4, and Xbox One, and probably of note though, if anyone played a lot of games in the 90s, this game was very clearly, as they say, inspired by Hexen and Heretic, which were basically level-based versions of this, and not roguelike, but pretty similar. Metacritic is 80, OpenCritic is 78. Probably the reason for the scoring a little bit lower is because of its peers for its release date. We have a bunch of them, but they're all important. But the one at the end of the list is probably the most important, and probably why this one will get our rating for top of the pile, middle of the pack overlook. So, Drive Club came out.
Okay.
Borderlands, the pre-sequel.
Okay.
The original, like, PC, PS3, 360. Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition.
Okay.
The Evil Within.
Okay.
Yeah. Killer Instinct Season 2.
How many big titles came out?
Shadow Warrior.
Oh, wow.
Sunset Overdrive.
Oh.
This is all in the month of October, by the way. And last, but certainly not least, The Binding of Isaac Rebirth.
Oh, wow.
A roguelike couldn't have launched at a worse time than, hey, one of the most popular roguelikes is back, and it's not bad now.
Yeah, that's... I mean, I kind of feel bad for it. Like, I mean, I'm sure we can both agree, bottom of the pile. Like, nobody talked about this at all.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because... It's really unfortunate because it is a good game, and I think it is a really good roguelike, and it's really fun. But man, it just kind of came out at the wrong time. Yeah,
I mean, let's say fairly or unfairly, the first 3 games on that list were all maligned for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
Fans of the genre will be focusing on the bottom of that list. And then you've got Sunset Overdrive, which stole the headlines when that thing came out because everybody was talking about that.
Yeah.
Nobody's really going to be talking about this. I mean, like you said, it's a good game, but that's a rough time to come out.
Yeah, and I feel like looking back on a lot of coverage from when Ziggurat came out, a lot of the coverage was, hey, this game is really good, give it a shot, but I understand if you don't have time to.
Yeah, I only knew about it because Giant Bomb did a quick look of it, because it grabbed Vinny's attention, and Vinny did a quick look of it. I think he did it with Alex.
Okay.
And he was just, it was literally like one run through kind of thing, but it grabbed my attention from that, and I actually wrote it down on my notes of games I might be interested in buying based off quick looks.
Right.
Which is in a pad over there on the dark side of the room where we don't go and we don't show the people on the webcam.
The cursed corner.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like Ziggurat. I think when you look at it, it's certainly not a perfect game. No. They're a small studio, and a lot of the games they put out are really good, but they're smaller in scope just by nature of the size of the studio.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of works for Ziggurat because one of the things I really like about it is when you look at the character select screen, it's very, very, very clear about what you need to do to unlock those characters. You know, it's like kill 100 carrots, you're 35 out of 100, stuff like that. And
yeah, it's not like the Isaac where it's like, how do you unlock the Lost?
yeah, it's like, I don't know. Wink.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, are there more characters? I don't know. You know, Risk of Rain did something similar to what Ziggurat did, where it's like, all right, look, you need to beat this boss with this character, or you need to do X actions with this character so many times.
Yeah.
And that's really great. And Ziggurat has, what, like 15 characters? It's a ridiculous number of individual characters.
Something like that, yeah. I think I'm only about halfway through unlocking them. This game has been my... I mean, let's get it out of the way. It's like a first-person shooter with magic. Harry Potter and in the Doom engine kind of thing.
Yeah, that's very much where the Hexen and Heretic influence comes in, because for anyone that hasn't played either of those, they came out in like maybe the mid-90s. They were on the Doom engine, and they were literally Doom with magic. It's wands and spells and stuff flying out of your hand, but it was very much level 1, level 2, level 3, you know, Act 1, Act 2, that sort of stuff, as opposed to Ziggurat being a roguelike.
Yeah. But no, like, I mean, the big thing that will scare people away, I think, from playing this is the issue I had with it. Like, which is really, like, my one major negative with it is you don't move quick enough off the bat. Like, yeah, you can get the acrobat who moves really, really quick, but he takes some time to unlock, and it feels like at the start of the game, you are struggling with your movement speed because you are not fast enough to dodge out the way of bullets or spells that are coming towards you. You are very much just slightly too slow. You know?
Yeah, there's that one boss early on that has like that giant hammer. He has like the curved horn head. And it's like, well, I can't...
he hits you every single time.
Yeah, it's like, well, I just need to burn him as fast as I can because I can't... What's crazy about Ziggurat is you move blisteringly fast when you're running, but you can't like sidestep, or you can't really do any of that. That's just really, okay, I've cleared a room, I just need to zoom through this thing, click in the stick, and just get moving.
Yeah, exactly. That's a destination A to B move rather than an actual, you know, useful in combat thing. I mean, eventually you unlock the haste spell card, which that changed the game for me, because anytime that showed up, I picked it up and I felt so much better in myself and stronger that it then becomes a case of, oh yeah, now I can circle strafe around everybody. Which, it still makes me laugh. It's 2017, and I just used the term... It's 2018 now, idiot. And I just used the term circle strafe.
Well, I think it still applies, I believe.
Not as much.
Yeah, one of the things I do like a lot about Ziggurat... I'll get to my one beef of the game here in a minute, but I do like, whenever you level up, it does give you the option of one of two, and then potentially expanding that option later, one or two cards that are going to give you some bonus. Like the one I like on really early on in runs is where you can break items in the environment and it gives you health back.
Health back. Yeah.
I feel like that's like one of the great underrated benefits. But I feel like those are really great because it, unlike something like you know, Risk of Rain or Binding of Isaac or a roguelike that we've spent a considerable amount of time with, if you compare Ziggurat to Binding of Isaac, for example, the two of them seem very similar, where you know, Ziggurat, as soon as you start a floor, you have a new item right in front of you. There's usually like an item room where you get a chest at some point, and it'll give you something, but the feeling of potentially rapid progression that you sometimes have in Binding of Isaac, where it's like, I picked up 2 items, now I'm doing 400% more damage, doesn't really exist in Ziggurat. And I think you get a slower progression ramp, but the benefit of that is each one of those perks you pick when you level up is beneficial in a pretty major way.
Yeah.
And it encourages you to clean out everything in the entire floor.
Yeah, because you got the XP meter thing happening.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those things, so we've discussed it before on Isaac. There is a perfectly good chance of you having a ain't going nowhere this time kind of run where you know you're doomed from the second floor.
Yeah.
I've never had that with Ziggurat. I've been an idiot and died before I should in Ziggurat,
Right.
but I've never had that run where it's just, yeah, you're not going to make any progression with this build.
There's creeping dread where it's like, this is not... Yeah, like, a lot of times, once you get down past the second floor, I feel in Ziggurat, the only thing you really have to watch out for are champion enemies.
Yes.
Or those rooms where it's like, you can only move while you're jumping, and enemies are twice as fast. It's like, oh god, why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, they have the flip side where they do give you the really slow enemies, really weak enemies. They give you the
Like double XP, double damage.
double drops. Like your one does 4 times as much damage, but everything else does like 50% less.
Yeah.
So, you know, it does give you the flip side of both positive and negative. It's a roguelike, but I don't feel it's as punishing as other versions of roguelikes have been. Like, I feel like this is very much a good beginner's roguelike, especially if you happen to have that experience from, like, the Doom engine, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot easier, too, because we're going to talk about Isaac because we're talking about roguelike, sorry. You know, the frustration of some people with Isaac is that it's not a dual-stick shooter, which I understand. And I feel like if you might not have that in Ziggurat because it is a fully first-person shooter. It just, you're also flinging around spells.
Yeah.
I think my major criticism about this game, and I feel like this might go away if I were to play it on PC. So I was playing it on PS4, and I'm assuming you were playing it on Xbox One.
Yes.
Is that game is dark. Like, graphically, draw distance, and, like, the look of the game. I don't know if I was doing something wrong, or there wasn't a gamma slider that I found in the game. Pretty dark, and at some points could be, in those really, really big rooms, could be really hard to see enemies that are shooting you from a considerable distance. But Moonpear is giving me a look that makes it sound like it's maybe just my TV.
It might just be a you thing.
Okay.
It was slightly darker than average, but I tend to have not brightness because that gives me migraines. I tend to have my gamma turned up quite a bit because
Right.
long story short, I get migraines if a TV is too bright.
Right.
If my wife turns off her TV, it goes to a blue screen, and that blue screen is possible to give me migraines just from the light
It's
coming
that,
out
like,
of it.
blindingly bright. Yeah.
It's the stupid blue light, and it gives me headaches.
Yeah.
But so my default setting on my TV is I always have my contrast way up and my brightness way down.
Oh, okay.
So it gives the illusion of brightness while not actually being too bright, and I also have my backlight turned off. So it could just be one of those things where it could just be your brightness settings, because on the big rooms I had issues occasionally, but nothing to the point where I ever actually felt like it was a negative.
Okay.
Like,
yeah, it must be my TV being funky then.
Could be.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other notable stuff here in Ziggurat. I feel like a lot of the enemies and bosses are pretty interesting, but this isn't really a negative, but they all kind of feel like D&D enemies.
D&D enemies / internet memes. When you go
really?
up against the giant Venus flytrap thing, and it's called Audrey.
Oh, is it?
Come on.
I never caught its name.
Yeah, the giant Venus flytrap boss is called Audrey.
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong, I love that reference. That's an amazing reference. But come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like it taking inspiration from D&D is definitely not a knock, because everything has, basically, since D&D came out. I sort of wish that there were maybe like 1 or 2 more enemies. I I feel like even on a standard, like all the way to the end of the game, the 5-floor run,
there's a lot of repeating.
Yeah, there's a lot of repeating. It's like, I'm going to fight the same skeletons. I always like fighting the carrots. I think that's just a really funny idea of just these killer carrots.
I love the fact that they have lore entries. Like,
yeah,
there is in-game lore that you can pick up, and they have an entry just dedicated to them.
Yeah, that's really good. It's really nice to see a studio sort of take their game seriously and have fun with it. You know, it's not like a super jokey game, but it's going to have a little bit of fun with itself, because, I mean, you're fighting killer carrots. I mean, it's...
Yeah. I mean, the story in it is minimal, but very dark, and then it's like, here's a carrot chasing you.
Yeah.
You know, you get an achievement for killing a flying skull with a flying skull called Head On.
Right.
You know?
Oh, man. Anything else you liked or didn't like about this game? It's sort of not the deepest game, so I hesitate to drag it out too long.
No, I mean it's got a lot of weapons in there that I like, but it felt like it only had like 4 weapons in each class or in each weapon category. That could just be because I haven't unlocked all of the weapons yet, but
yeah.
You know, when I've unlocked a whole bunch of stuff and I'm still only getting the same 3 or 4 weapons in those slots, it's a little bit repetitive in that sense. But at the same time, it's like maybe an hour to do a run, and you can actually save and quit and come back to it at a later date.
Yeah.
So it works out quite nicely for like a little 30-minute jump in, jump out, 30 minutes jump in, jump out kind of thing.
Yeah. And they had daily quests too, daily runs, which I haven't done any of those.
Yeah, me neither. I'm just trying to get through the unlocking process.
Right.
But yeah, it's a good game. It's slightly limited, but there's not a knock against the game. It's a small studio.
Yeah.
The stories they tell in the secret rooms tell you as much. Like, they go through their games as they were released, and they admit the pros and cons of them. They're like, this is a game called Rifle Range that we made just because we wanted to do a first-person shooter, and it's literally just a shooting range that they released on the PC.
Right.
It's like very limited. They even say it was very limited, not a whole bunch to it, but people liked it. So
yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, well, that's Ziggurat. If you're listening to this and you haven't played it, give it a shot. It's on something you own, and it's good. I mean, especially, I like your recommendation too, that if you haven't played a lot of roguelikes, this might be a really good starter. You know, Isaac is too intimidating, or, you know, Risk of Rain is maybe a little bit too difficult, or something like that. Yeah,
Flint Hook moves too fast as well.
Flint Hook is made by madmen, you know, just in general. All right, let's talk about our next game.
This is I have not looked at the votes since I voted.
All right, so since this is the every other month thing, this month was chosen by patrons. We had 3 choices. Coming in last place with no votes was Massive Chalice.
My wife was very disappointed about this, by the way.
Yeah, it's still on the list, so you know it'll come up eventually. Second place, we will play this at some point because I know Moon is going to love it, is Ori and the Blind Forest.
Yep.
It was neck and neck with a winner for a while, but winner with double the points of Ori and the Blind Forest was The Mummy Demastered.
Ooh, there's that Metroidvania.
Yeah, I'm very excited to play because I like Way Forward's games a lot, and apparently this is a really good Metroidvania. So.
Yep, that's everything I've been hearing about. It was, oh hey, movie tie-ins are back. Oh hey, by the way, they're really good.
Yeah, and Way Forward makes just really great pixel art. I'm really excited. So
don't get me wrong, it's no ACA Neo Geo, but you know.
Oh, sure. I mean, what can be? So Mummy Demastered came out on PS4, Xbox One, PC, and the Switch. So you can get it on the go if you'd like. I was talking about the Switch on that one, but I guess also if you have like a NVIDIA Shield.
Yeah, that's true.
Play it on that.
Who's got a Shield?
Yeah. Not me. I'm not made of money over here.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to buy a 4K TV. All right. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for listening, and we'll see you next month.
See ya.
And thank you, everyone, for watching live. Nice to see Mixer's spam is still going on.
Yep.
We will see you tomorrow for TVGP proper. Bye.